Well, Steve, let's say that state legislation just had an open check of, hey, we can put this much to education. What would be the top priority for you of how to educate our public?
Well, I think, even though the documentaries like we saw on the TV are pretty dramatic, I think that goes to try to initiate a conversation about where we are at the present time in terms of habitat conditions, not just for the horses, not just for wildlife, but all users on the public lands. And so while there weren't any solutions that were provided on that video, I think it starts a conversation about what do we do? This is the issue at hand. We're at a turning point. How do we address this?
Greg, American Wild Horse Campaign, how much budget do you have for education, first off, for a nonprofit like this?
Well, they spend a lot of time with public opinion and developing knowledge with our interested groups and with people that have just a general interest in wild horses, including a lot of our European countries. They come over. There's a lot of tourism that utilizes wild horses and brings in those dollars. We have tours that take place in our area just south of Carson City, Gardnerville. The V&T train that goes up to Virginia City. You should see all of the tourists run to the side of the train when there's wild horses out there. And there's something about it that draws people, right, and has interest. So the education that goes behind that is that you already have interest. You just need to give them a medium to be able to see it, whether it's Facebook, which is a big medium today, brochures, being in locations where there's horses, horse people. And the BLM actually has done quite a bit recently. Their websites are better. They've done better as far as getting adoption pictures out. They've promoted things like their prison program, adoption programs. And so they are making progress there. And I think it's really great because there's interest in it. And it's success stories for the BLM as well.
They get a lot of letters. BLM gets a lot of letters.
Well, and sometimes it's negative press too. And, I understand that too, and we probably have something to do with that. But
Gus, is that true? Most of the letters you get, are they positive, they're mixed, or negative?
Most of the letters we get are complaining about some proposal that we're doing. Literally, we could put out for example, a gather proposal. We could get thousands and thousands of negative responses and just a handful of positive. It's just the nature of the beast. People that are very passionate and vocal about something, they're going to push their response out. If they're sitting the fence, they're probably not going to do anything.
And gather proposals it needs to be public record before you do a gather,
yes,
correct?
For sure.
Right. So I'm going to ask you the same question. Congress just has an open check for education for BLM and something around wild horses and wild burro. What do you think is the most critical way you can educate our public here?
I think the biggest thing is to understand the laws and the challenges we're under as an agency of how we manage the animals have to be based on these laws. We can't go outside of those boundaries. And I think if we could educate the public about what we can and can't do, I think it might take some pressure off us as an agency, because I think there's so much misconception that BLM can change the world. And I get very rudimentary at times when I explain to people there's 3 branches of government. We're part of the executive branch. We are fulfilling what the legislative branch passes, and then the other part is the judicial branch, and that's when judges will tell us what to do. So our hands are tied on most cases. As much as we would like to change things as an agency, we just can't do it.
Right, and even when BLM is charged with maintaining a thriving ecological balance with horses and burros on the public lands, that's defined differently by who you talk to. So it's a tough job that BLM has, but inaction doesn't help at all in this arena. And we just continue to jeopardize habitats for all user groups out there. So.
And their processes are a little slow in the EA environment.
That was an understatement.
Their EA, their NEPA, to be able to utilize PCP, they have to have it in an environmental assessment. And that can take a review period and over a year, right? So you lose 1-2 years, and next thing you know, you have double the horses, right?
We're sued if we use PZP, and we're sued if we don't use PZP.
There you go.
So,
Yep.
Right.